Back live with you tonight. Let's begin then with matters that have to do with energy. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. That's how Nersa described circumstances under which it approved the 18.65% tariff hike requested by Eskom. The increase is expected to send shockwaves through South Africa's economy, especially among small businesses. The energy regulator described the hike as unavoidable as Eskom hopes to recover 351 billion rand in revenue and address overspending on diesel for 7 billion rand. Govan Whittles reports.
Nersa admits that it's unfair for consumers to pay for Eskom's inefficiencies and the fact that it's not using almost half of its coal-fired plants. The energy regulator says it considered a number of factors before deciding to approve the hike.
Nersa was caught between the rock and a hard place. Now the question is, on one end, you need to actually satisfy the licensee that is asking and say, well, if you give me a bigger price, I'll be able to go buy more diesel. I may be able to reduce load shedding. On the other, you have one that simply says, but in allowing this excessive increases way above inflation, are we not being considerate?
This approval comes despite a dissenting vote by one of its non-permanent members, Tembeka Simane. In its deliberations, the energy regulator debated how to impose requirements on Eskom that would force the power utility to improve efficiency and energy availability.
We need to do and balance the interests of both the consumers and that of Eskom. That is unfair for the consumers to be paying for plants that are not operating or not operate because we do believe that Eskom is not being efficient in this process. That then the consumers pay for those plants as well as pay for diesel. So it's one thing to pay for those plants that are not running and then forcing Eskom to make sure that those plants do run, but it's another to then over and above that to then allow an additional amount.
While it tried to justify why such a dramatic tariff hike is necessary, civil society and energy experts are calling for a government bailout and a different approach.
This is something that has to be capitalized now in government's books, because if you don't, then it becomes a situation where price increases are too high and you chase away not only you put society, civil society, individuals under massive pressure who just cannot afford these increases, but secondly, you chase away investment.
We have to relook at how electricity is actually created, priced, as well as distributed, and looking at the aspect of the role of municipality, because most of the cost actually gets literally inflated when it comes to the reselling to the end consumer through the distribution of municipalities and their processes of reselling process and all of this.
And for the average business owner, these latest price hikes will likely lead to more job losses.
When the stages started going up, a lot of equipment damage, a lot of losses. We had to let go of some of our people because, we couldn't, operate as per normal. So our profit margins, our bottom line is really affected. So whatever needs to happen, for us to get out of this kind of like slump, we really urge all the leaders that are concerned to really do what's right by especially township and small businesses.
Nersa's decision may have been necessary for Eskom to recover revenue, but it won't stop load shedding. The regulator says it's disappointed that even with these massive hikes, power cuts remain inevitable. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Govan Whittles in Johannesburg.